With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Andrew Rimby, host of the Ivory Tower Boiler Room Arts and Culture Podcast. If you haven't, please take a second to rate us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Please make sure you're following us on Spotify or Apple. And did you know we have a YouTube channel? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really means a lot. You can actually see a lot of our video episodes on YouTube. And if you don't want to listen to any ads that are going to happen throughout the episode, even though I love all of our sponsors, of course, you can listen to our ad-free episodes on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room. And right now, you can get 1 week for free to see all of the ad-free episodes. And all of those episodes are also video episodes. So you can get to watch me, the guest, and you can also listen to all of Mary's True Crime and Academia episodes ad-free. Okay, I hope you enjoy the episode.
Hey, true crime friends. Welcome back to True Crime and Academia. As always, I am your host, Mary DePippi. Gosh, I know, it has been a minute, and this was completely unintentional. I'm so sorry I've been kind of radio silent with everything. There's just been a lot going on. So, to just really give you the cliff notes, basically, my boss and bestie found a new opportunity and has moved on from our place of employment. So therefore, because we were a 2-person team, all of that work has fallen on me. So it's just been a lot, and I've been really just trying to figure everything out and, obviously get my main bread and butter situation figured out. So I've been spending a lot of time doing that. My man and I, we also went on vacation for Labor Day and 4th of July. And we hit up all the major holidays this year, which was awesome. This time around, we did see the Wolf of Wildwood, which was really cool. I mean, we didn't get any direct pictures. I'll post a few that I was able to get, but I don't know. I'm just awkward as well. So, I didn't want to go up and ask for a picture. But also, there were people already doing that. So, I just didn't want to be in that line also. You know what I mean? But it was still really cool, seeing him in person and just not on Instagram. Another person we saw within that same weekend that we were down for Labor Day was Joey Contino. And I didn't get any pictures of him because we both have heard that, when he's doing these types of shoots, I guess additional B-roll shoots, he's very focused in doing what he's doing. So it's not always the best time to say hi to him. So again, benefiting my awkwardness, we just kept our distance. But it was just really cool that we got to see 2 wildwood celebrities while we were down there for the last weekend. But overall, I mean, we really just had a great time. We stayed at the same hotel we've been staying at for years, and we went to a couple of the restaurants that were literally just a few feet away and like really close to us. And, Sam's, of course, because we love Sam's. And even though we really didn't get on the beach, I mean, I think we went on the beach the last day and that was pretty much it. Because like the weather it wasn't cold, but it wasn't exactly like go out in your bikini and sit by the ocean weather. You know what I'm saying? So, we found other things to do. We also went mini golfing, but, it was kind of more of exploring Wildwood and less of the focus on the beach and stuff, which was, again, really great. And, just a different vibe of a Wildwood vacation. Also, with Andrew and Lawrence's engagement, there has been a lot of just talk and excitement and partying, and it's just all been so much fun. I am so happy for them. I love them both so much, and I'm just so excited for them and so excited to be a part of their special day. So aside from all of this just amazing chaos, chaos nonetheless, I've also been self-soothing, I guess, if you will, with Halloween things and all of the things spooky. So I just kind of wanted to go through my list a little bit of what I've been watching since this hiatus. And actually, I might have some of this I might have mentioned already, but I'm just going to go through it real quick. So for the month of August, I started the Buffy the Vampire series, and that has been continuing. I'm on season 5, I believe, episode 21, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away any spoilers for anyone who is rewatching or watching Buffy for the first time, even though it's been out forever and a lot of things have been spoiled for me. But I just don't want to add to that. So anyway, I've been watching that, still watching that. Also watched Death of a Unicorn, The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Practical Magic, Beetlejuice, The Residents, Before I Wake, No Good Deed, Subservient, and The Woman of the Hour. Now, a couple of documentaries that I watched in August that I do want to cover episodes on are Her Last Broadcast and Amy Bradley is Missing. So stay tuned for those. And then this month so far, technically I watched Wednesday in August, and I finished the series in September. Also watched Malevolent, Unknown Number, The High School Catfish, White Noise, I Know What You Did Last Summer, but the newer version that just came out, Talk to Me, which I think I need to rewatch. I don't know, but okay, so for me, right now, and I don't hate this, but I like that the ending is very good. I don't find many horror flick endings to be very good. So the fact that this ending one was good, I'm just a little annoyed that the lead up wasn't as enticing as I wanted it to be. So I feel like because of that, I might have missed some details. So I definitely want to rewatch and see if that changes my opinion. And lastly, for this first week of September, I watched What Jennifer Did. And that is what we are going to be discussing in today's episode. This documentary specifically in this case had been brought up to me by one of my coworkers who is native to the area or like lives close to that area and had been asking me about this and if I knew about it. So shout out, Mike. This one's for you. I'm finally getting into the case of Jennifer Pan. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. So stick around.
As an English professor, I would have no idea where to begin with books to assign to my students. So I absolutely love Broadview Press, who is celebrating their 40th anniversary. Broadview Press, they publish classic works of literature, academic, humanities books. I've read so many of their books, and I've always loved whatever conversations being discussed, from the philosophy of sport, indigenous philosophy and Native American culture, vampire literature, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, new edition that just came out just in time for Wicked fandom, folk and fairy tales. My students love the different Cinderella and Little Red Riding Hood fairy tales that we discussed. They always have a really exciting collection. So head on over right now to broadviewpress.com. Use the exclusive code that they gave us, Ivory Tower, for 20% off all of your orders. I hope you enjoy your reading, and please let me know and DM me with the books that you're getting from Broadview Press, because I'd love to share it with Dylan from Broadview Press, who always is curious to see what the Ivory Tower Boiler Room community is purchasing. So enjoy your reading, and I hope you discover even more exciting humanities works.
Jennifer Pan was born on June 17th, 1986, to parents Bic and Han Pan. Bic and Han had immigrated from Vietnam in 1978, and one source I found said that they were considered to be like refugees when they entered Canada. Another source that I saw claims that Jennifer also had a younger brother who was born in 1989. However, he was not mentioned at all in the documentary. Given the time frame, I'm assuming that maybe he might have been off at college at this point, which is why he wouldn't have been there. However, though, like I said, he wasn't in the documentary, and I'm sure, he does not want to be involved any way, shape, or form, but just letting you know, that is something else that I found. The Pans lived a fairly modest life. Bic was a supervisor at a car park company, and Han worked as a machinist, actually at the same company. Bic and Han were extremely hardworking, and they tried to instill those hardworking values and stressing, the importance of education onto their children. In the documentary, one of Jen's former friends, who was also the child of Asian immigrants, he had mentioned that there was like a lot of stress and pressure from parents, specifically parents of immigrants, or children of immigrants, where they do feel a lot of pressure to succeed and become successful. And specifically, he was saying, like, with the Asian culture, like, there are certain careers that would be acceptable versus others. And, like, mentioning, like, how, like, obviously being a doctor was one of the highest ones, or a surgeon, and then mentioning, like, yeah, and maybe becoming a lawyer would be okay if you couldn't become a doctor. Despite feeling the pressures and, just kind of being raised in a little bit more of a stricter household, Jen was also very bubbly and happy and confident. Jennifer was also a former piano prodigy. Like, her parents had spent so much money on lessons and competitions. And in the documentary, what Jennifer did, you see like the photographs of her with all these ribbons and trophies and, spanning from a young age up until about her teen years, which is kind of around like when she started going to college, when she kind of really stopped playing the piano. And at one point she had actually broken down to her teacher and told him that, her parents didn't like the guy she was dating at the time and just thought dating was a whole waste of time for her, and, really just wanting her to focus on her studies and, getting into college and, succeeding there and becoming successful. And for her, it was just, the pressure was just mounting and it was driving her crazy. Now, and I don't blame the teacher at all for not thinking anything of this, or maybe not even saying anything to the parents directly about this, because, I mean, how often do teenagers, especially teenagers getting ready to go to college, and again, you know, that's stressful enough. Again, you mount the fact that both of her parents are really stressing the fact that they want her to succeed and get a good education and put all her efforts into that. So it wasn't necessarily like out of the realm for her to be upset about this. And for a lot of students that age and, you know, in that time of their lives, you know, it is a very stressful time. So, you know, again, it's not totally abnormal to be feeling these stresses. However, though, again, because Jennifer did have strict parents, and I don't want to get into really whether I agree with their parenting style or not, just because I'm not them. I'm not also not a part of that culture where, you know, obviously like education is important to me. I think it's super important, but I also, you know, I don't put so much weight on a child or a person's success based off of whether they become a surgeon or a doctor or not. That's just me personally. But like I said, I don't want to get into that too much just because it is something more cultural, and that's something that was just extremely important to them. And I think you'll, like, as we go through this, you'll see like her parents really do love her, and it is all coming from a good place. But like I said, do I agree with it necessarily? Not so much. Mainly because also they were very adamant that she go into pharmaceuticals and become a pharmacist, because they knew, and they even say this in the documentary, they knew that she wouldn't be able to have the stomach to be a doctor, and Jen admits this herself. So they didn't want her to not be in med school. And initially she wanted to go for kinesthesiology, but her father, Han, didn't find it to be as successful of a branch of medicine, and thus told her she needed to pursue, you know, becoming a pharmacist. So unlike a lot of students her age, you normally are given a choice. You decide what you want to go to school for. And to have that freedom of choice of what you want to pursue as the job you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. And in some cases, people find it to be vocational, you know, like that can be extremely stressful and difficult to have to deal with. But I also understand, maybe from their perspective, the parents' perspective, if they're going to be contributing financially, they want to have a say in what their child is studying. So, you know, again, I can see both sides of this, but I do understand how that can be very jarring to someone to not feel like you have any sort of control in or over your life. But Jennifer, of course, abides by her parents. She gets into a very prestigious school and is getting all good grades. However, though, in comparison to some of the other students, like her friend, again, her childhood friend, had also mentioned that, like, yeah, she was getting all A's, but, like, she still wasn't the top of her class. Like, and if anything, she was nowhere near the top of her class. So that's also just shows how competitive that school was, and just some added pressure that she was feeling than being in college. On November 8th, 2010, a 911 comes in at about 10:30 p.m. The caller, a hysterical Jennifer Pan, tells the 911 operator that 3 men have broken into her home, taken her parents downstairs and tied her to a railing, and then shortly after, she heard pops. That sounded kind of like fireworks. Paramedics and police rush to the home and sadly find Bick, Jennifer's mother, deceased. Her father, had been shot in the eyeball, but was still thankfully alive and was being sent immediately to the hospital for treatment. Police canvass the area, process the scene, and bring Jennifer down to the station to get her statement.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Summer's almost here, and as a lover of literature, bookstores, libraries, the constant question I get is, Andrew, what book should I add to my summer reading list and read at the beach this summer? And I just always had a problem trying to tell people what to read, but guess what? No more. I have a magazine that has become my best friend. It is the G&LR, the Gay and Lesbian Review, a bi-monthly magazine of all things LGBTQ arts and culture. Their current issue is called The First Homosexuals, and it is guest edited by Dr. Jonathan D. Katz, who is a professor at the University of Penn. He was the founding president of New York's Leslie Lohman Museum of Gay and Lesbian Art, which, if you've never been there, is a free museum. So definitely go there. It's in Soho and it's amazing. Back to the G&LR. This new edition is so exciting to read. It looks at how the term homosexuality is an invented term. It was invented by medical scientists in the late Victorian period. So I can't wait to read all of these articles, but there's articles talking about homosexuality in Japan, Russia, Canada, Paris, India, Argentina. And Jonathan D. Katz talks about his exhibition called The First Homosexuals, now on display in Chicago's Wrightwood Museum from May 2nd to July 26th. But I can't get to Chicago this summer, so I'm so happy that I get to look through the magazine and see all of the articles that Jonathan has put together with contributing writers. I'm interviewing Jonathan soon, so look out for that episode, everyone. The G&LR has given me an exclusive promo code. Write it down, everyone. It's ITBR Choice, and you get a free issue with your subscription. So, glreview.org, go to the subscribe section, ITBR Choice, you get a free issue, and I can't wait for you all to enjoy the G&LR as much as I do. Please let me know if you're reading the G&LR, and until next time when I have Jonathan D. Katz on.